What up, everybody? Welcome back to another weather video. If you haven't yet, please like, comment, subscribe if you like what I talk about. Then then hit that button. I'm trying to figure out what color I want to use. Okay, here we go. So we have a very active weather pattern coming up this weekend. Right now it's very active across the west. It is very active across the east, and it's very quiet across south to north, uh, south to north center of the country right now. So hang on, let me press play on this so I know what I'm talking about. To make it easier. So we have our northeastern still offshore here. Actually, that might be the second low pressure system. That might be the second low pressure system. I'm not for sure though. But we still have our big northeastern causing major problems across there. And then we have this storm right here that's currently bringing rain and rain and snow across the mountains here, with moisture getting flinged up right up into the U.S. This thing is eventually going to come in like that, so it's going to take its time. But this is going to be our next troublemaker that we're going to need to watch. This was the remnants of that typhoon that hit Japan like a week or so ago, and it did cause major problems up towards Alaska. So, but this right here is our next major weather system we're going to need to talk about, because there's going to be severe weather impacts. There's going to be winter weather impacts, and you name it all. It's going to be here. But yeah, we're going to talk less about this now since it is out of the way. But we're going to talk more heavily on that little storm there. Um, so, because technically right now, hang on, I don't know why I don't have it bigger. I can have this thing bigger. There we go, much better. So, yeah. So basically, we have this storm system right here. Is basically a trough like that. So basically, the trough is like that. So right now there's a lot of cooler air, but there's moisture getting plumbed up like that, and eventually once this low pressure system gets further more in, we're gonna start seeing warm unstable air start to get feed up to the Midwest. So, and then we have a storm system. We had a storm system up here this morning that had a tail end of moisture, which that has now dissipated. So, but the reason why it's gonna be cloudy over the next several days is because of this low pressure system right here. It's going to deliver. It's going to get clouds and stuff all thrown up into the U.S. So there you go. That's the reason why. All right, let's go to tropical weather. We have a new tropical system. I don't think this is going to last very long, because it's just going to go out to sea and become absolutely nothing. So it's going to get flung up like that and back around. So yeah, these islands may have to worry about some rip currents, but I don't think it'll have too much of a big effect on it, honestly. So we got that, and then we have a new disturbance right in here that Mexico's going to need to watch for, because I've seen these type of systems right here that get really close to the shore and literally become a Cat 5 and slam right into Mexico. So Mexico really needs to pay attention to that. So, all right. All right, let's go to here. Let's go to our warning area. So, like I said, we're gonna. Oh, that ain't gonna work. So right here, we're gonna see major snowfall. We're gonna see catastrophic rainfall right across here. We're gonna see some rain, but I would say a lot. And then we have a more flooding, more rain flood possible in this area. This area, I think, got hit hard with some wildfires, including the Los Angeles area. So not surprising that we see some flash flood watches, because some areas could end up with 2 to 3 inches. Even though that may not be a lot, but it's a lot for those burn scar areas, because when you get those, when those wildfires go and push through those areas and they burn that land, it leaves that chark that chark and that and when that rain piles, it doesn't soak into the ground. It just sits and sits and clouds, and literally builds and builds and builds to the point where that water has to go somewhere, and it's going to go downstream, and downstream is where people's houses, livelihoods, all that. So yeah, so we're gonna have to watch that area very closely for potential for wildfires. I see some uh I see some flash flood watches too up in the mountains there, and that's probably because we more burn scar areas up in there too. So yeah, so we'll just have to wait and see what this storm will bring. So yeah. And looks like we already have some first first freeze warnings, first freeze warnings here, and right across here, we're still dealing with the aftermath of the nor'easter. And then we're going to deal with some major winds from this storm system, and then we're gonna see some frost advisories, frost warnings, because of the fact that the trough is pretty much dipping down like something like that. So, and then right out, I think, yeah. So right out here, we could see some fire danger, some wildfire danger. So we'll take a look at that. We'll see if there's anything that popping up. Um. So let's take a look here. So nothing is popping up. Um. So okay. So okay, that's November. Okay, that's weird. Huh, okay. Hazardous outlook. Hazardous outlook. What's this? Rapid onset drought. So it looks like the drought will continue to get worse for much of the country. There's a slight risk of heavy snow up in the mountains here. There's a slight risk of drought will continue along the coast here, and then we're gonna get some moderate risk of precipitation right here. There's a moderate risk for that, but we'll definitely start taking a look at this, because this is definitely like a good representation of everything. So uh so yeah. And then up in Alaska, we don't really talk about Alaska much, but here we go. We're gonna continue we're gonna continue to see a drought continuing across here. And then we're gonna see some, and then we have moderate risk of seeing some very high winds right off the coast here, and then we have a moderate or maybe even slight risk of seeing heavy precipitation. So yeah, there's that. So, all right, let's hit the models now. I think it's time to look at that. Look at that now. We are There we go. We're on the latest and newest data. So so this up here deliver a trail of moisture today. We have our big storm system off the coast here, and we have our northeastern right up in here. So it's the latest, and as you guys can see, starts to pull in with a heavy snow across the mountains there. Across the mountains there. We still continue to stay very quiet. Might get a little disturbance coming down from the north here, and our little northeastern it definitely moves out. Definitely moves away. So, but our storm that comes on coast. Um, definitely moves up this direction, but we're gonna have to watch right across here because we're gonna get a new developing low pressure system that could bring a very good chance of severe weather, right across the Midwest, which would be I would say right in here is gonna be a good area for severe weather. As you can see here. Um, and then we're gonna get that, and then we're gonna eventually see a dip. Like we're definitely gonna see a dip in the trough, which means we're gonna get cold air rushing down, and we're gonna get warm air moving north on the west coast. So we're gonna get this low pressure system with the cold front like this, as eventually going to lower it down like that. So, and then we're gonna have our warm front right about there. So something to keep an eye out for over the weekend. There's a developing trend for severe weather. I wouldn't rule out damaging winds, but definitely some tornadoes are possible. Maybe even some supercells. So I wouldn't rule out a possible tornado outbreak across here from Texas through Illinois, through Oklahoma, Arkansas, Missouri, Illinois, and Indiana. Now, and as this goes through, it'll probably be pushing that way, and it'll eventually become more of a damaging wind threat, as we can see here. So, so yeah, that's pretty much that. And then we have another major storm system right here that we're gonna need to keep an eye on. Again, as this one pushes out for. This will be the 22nd of October. So which definitely right here would be a severe weather event right here with back in quite a bit of snowfall. So um so yeah, we'll definitely keep an eye on that, but I don't want to focus too much on that system right now. But this right here would be Sunday, Saturday. So Sunday would be a big severe weather outbreak into. So maybe I want to rule out maybe even a marginal risk for severe weather across this big area. Actually, hang on, more of that area right in here. Possible marginal risk for severe weather. It doesn't look too bad. but Saturday could be a marginal risk, and Sunday would be the big severe weather outbreak. So, so yeah, just right now we don't know. It's only Monday, but we're definitely keeping an eye on it. So yeah, I don't but yeah, you know what? Let's go to severe weather. Let's go to the Cape. Let's go to the boat. Let's go to Sheer. So yeah, this is definitely a big bowling ball of a storm system right there. So yeah, I want to. Yeah, we could get a pretty good severe weather outbreak performing right up in there. As you definitely get your trough and a dip. So when you get when you get trough trough like that, definitely an indication that we're gonna have a very active pattern over the next several weeks. So so yeah, very active pattern coming up uh through from the middle of October through the end, as we can see here. So but yeah. But I'm pretty sure if I can go on GFS, go to there. All right, GFS. The GFS is free, so that's why. Monday, Sunday, Sunday. Right now, it's not really showing a big, like a huge amount of, or actually, this is Saturday. All right, Sunday. That's not looking too impressive for a severe weather outbreak. Um, but maybe towards right in here could be something. We have a little bit of cape developing too, right through there. So, uh, so yeah. All right. Let's go to the supercell deposit. Let's see what this is showing. This is showing Saturday, Sunday. So not a very big high severe weather for supercells, which is very very interesting. So. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it. If you haven't yet, please like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, see you guys all tomorrow with another new video. Peace.